Those who own XRP Ripple are afraid because Coinbase, the largest cryptocurrency company in the world, has been under fire. This could be the beginning of another case, and Coinbase could end up being the primary target of those who have a lot of XRP. However, experts aren't alarmed because they believe that XRP Ripple coin could rise as high as it appears that Coinbase is being sued once more, this time by the state of Oregon. Oregon's Attorney General Dan Rayfield has filed a new lawsuit against the cryptocurrency exchange, claiming that it sold unregistered securities to Oregon. $1.00 2000 this month. Who do we think we can trust? What should we do? Let's take it one step at a time. You will be amazed by this movie, not ban residents and fail to adequately screen high-risk assets to safeguard clients. Despite the SEC's softer stance on enforcing crypto regulations, the lawsuit from Oregon appears to continue where the federal regulators left off, bringing up old disputes and anxieties in the industry once more. But there are other noteworthy aspects of this case as well. What is absent is that there isn't. Judge Annalisa Torres stated in July 2023 that XRP, the cryptocurrency, at the heart of one of the largest court victories in cryptocurrency history, is not always a security when it is offered for sale on platforms. This significantly weakened the SEC's case against Ripple and gave the cryptocurrency community great hope because they believed the ruling would mark a change in the law that could have an impact on similar cases in the future. But the Oregon lawsuit against Coinbase Paul Grewal makes no mention of that significant ruling. The chief legal officer for Coinbase stated bluntly that the case was a reiteration of previous SEC actions and cited Section 9 of the complaint as the most evident instance where Judge Torres' the decision was omitted. Grewal didn't hold back when discussing how the AG is attempting to revive a strategy known as regulation by enforcement that the SEC is abandoning. He claims that the lawsuit even labels the former head of the SEC as a crypto lobbyist, despite significant court rulings that cast doubt on their entire argument. This isn't just an error, it appears to be was done intentionally. If other politicians and regulators follow suit, the progress made in Ripple's case could be quietly undone, already under a lot of pressure from Coinbase. This is because the Oregon AG's office has ignored the XRP case, which means that one of the few times a court disagreed with the idea that all crypto assets as stocks has been erased, may need to make difficult decisions to safeguard itself, such as removing XRP from the platform once more, which would be detrimental to the XRP economy, which is attempting to expand globally, and being removed from one of the largest U.S. markets would damage its reputation at a time when it needs to establish trust. XRP had recently been added back to Coinbase after being removed during the first case by. It would not only annoy everyone if the SEC pulled it again, but it would also be a sign of a larger issue, one in which legal victories don't seem to matter if officials choose to ignore them. It's almost too ironic that after a protracted legal battle to clarify XRP status, the state level is now acting as though the decision never occurred. If court rulings are readily excluded from legal complaints, it undermines the rule of law. What message does this send to other projects attempting to navigate this already difficult regulatory environment? Coinbase obviously wants to get it, even though, as Grewal stated, the company is certain that it is adhering to the facts and the rules, but the question remains. Regardless of what the courts decide, users of XRP have every reason to be concerned, but they also have every reason to remain steadfast. Will it continue to target XRP or cease supporting a token that regulators are determined to view as a threat? Ripple's victory is still significant. All that needs to be remembered and safeguarded is that things take an odd turn here, which is because crypto experts aren't freaking out, because many people believe that this storm is only the beginning of something much bigger for XRP, despite the news being full of cases and trouble. Crypto analyst Amink simply wrote, and then there's Levi, whose words have gone untrue, indicating that they see opportunity rather than danger, and that you are not prepared for the future of XRP. Viral, you might become the first person in your group to reach multi-millionaire status, and XRP could help you do so. Believe it, it may sound crazy, but when you look more closely, there's a reason for all the chaos. There are those who believe that XRP's recent luck is a major factor in the global financial shiftings. There will be significant changes as interest rates begin to decline, and the discussion of rate reductions intensifies, giving assets like XRP more attention. Rate reductions are imminent and XRP may rise significantly. XRP, although historical comparisons don't always predict the future, they do give us hope, as demonstrated by Pulse's tweet, pointing to what could be a massive influx of capital into the cryptocurrency space. Who is also a member of the XRP group, raised a crucial issue in 2014 that cannot be disregarded. Bitcoin's value increased from $2.00 in 2012 to $1.00 2000. Why doesn't XRP do the same thing? Is a powerful question, which leads us to what may be the most audacious claim ever made. Remy Relief, a prominent member of the XRP community, recently made headlines when he predicted that XRP could reach $120.00. Before, at first glance, the end of the year seems absurd, especially since XRP is still near $2.00. The price would increase by an incredible 560% if they succeeded in reaching that target. But Relief's case involves more than just market hype. It also involves global infrastructure. He discusses SWIFT, the global financial messaging system, which moves roughly $5.00. The value of XRP could be significantly impacted if it were to receive even a small portion of the $1.25 quadrillion annually or trillion zero per day through Ripple or its integration with central bank digital currency systems. Relief even claims that this could occur without the assistance of ETF swaps or tokenization platforms. Makes me wonder what would happen if those financial tools became involved. Let's take a moment to explain what an exchange-traded fund ETF is. An ETF is a group of assets that are traded on the traditional stock market. It's a low-risk way for large institutions and regular investors to get exposure to an asset without actually purchasing or holding it themselves. For Bitcoin, an ETF lends credibility to the cryptocurrency by demonstrating that some claim that XRP is still sleeping and gaining speed in the background while everyone else quarrels over who is right and who is wrong. But regulators and those who work in traditional banking are prepared to use this technology in a more formal way. For those who are holding out, however, what those who are paying attention see is something else. A storm is approaching. We now know that Ripple is not only surviving with its cutting-edge technology, but is preparing to take over the global banking system. While some people had their doubts, Ripple was expanding its most recent partnerships, and they are more than just incredible. They send a huge positive signal. Even the most critical review it. Startled by these actions, you won't believe what Ripple is doing at the moment. While skeptics continue to focus on short-term price charts, behind the scenes something much more significant is happening. This is not just another cryptocurrency attempting to survive on the open market. Rather, it is being integrated into the very foundation of the financial systems of the future generation. This is a global story. Adoption is more than just a trend. In a tweet, India just completed its first crude oil deal with the UAE using local currencies, stated John Squire. Take a look at that $500 trillion 0 cents market. It's not just a huge sum. The way value flows between nations has changed, and the XRP ledger is a component of the infrastructure that operates with it, changed significantly. Being a part of that base indicates that oil, goods, and cross-border trade are where XRP's true financial power lies. Through these trillion-dollar lines, new tracks are being created by Ripple's technology. Big banks throughout Asia are already attempting to obtain XRP finance, not only in India or the Middle East. Buller released a compelling report. XRP just achieved another victory. This time around, Hashkey Capital launches the first XRP tracker fund in Asia.